Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has to be probably one of the most ridiculous headlines I think I have ever read regarding Bud Light. The fact that this company is desperately still, to this day, trying to convince people that they actually are a favorite brand, that people actually like and want Bud Light, even after the whole debacle with Dylan Mulvaney. They're still trying to convince you that their brand is, for the most part, very well liked and very well desired. And now we have an article here coming to us from Fox Business News that says Bud Light sales continue to plunge as Anheuser-Busch insists that the U.S. still has favorable view of the brand. Anheuser-Busch says 80% of Americans have a favorable or neutral view of Bud Light. Now, when I read this headline, I gotta say, I was like, wow, this is something, right? When you are so desperate to try to make people think that your brand is still meant to be something special, like it used to be for a lot of people, that you're trying to include neutral views as somehow favorable views for your brand. So now they're trying to put neutral and favorable together to make it look better than it actually is. So let's get into this article, guys, from Fox Business, and it says Anheuser-Busch InBev on Thursday reported a steep drop in profits amid the ongoing boycott against Bud Light, but the company insists U.S. consumers still have a generally favorable view of the beer brand. Imagine generally favorable being something that's acceptable for a company. You know what I mean? Like they are so beaten down. They are so like down in the gutter that they are just they have to take this as a win. They have to take literally anything as a win. If it's kind of like someone eating your food and they're like, it was okay. And you saying, oh, great, I'm excited. I'm glad you thought it was just okay. You know what I mean? It's that kind of comparison. And it really is kind of sad that a company like Bud Light is experiencing this because of their own actual decisions that, you know, one of their crazy marketing CEOs or whatever the hell she was decided to do. The VP of marketing, I believe, was her title. So yeah, it is kind of sad to see what's happening, but I really don't feel bad at all because, again, this company deserves everything coming to them, and every other woke company that thinks and acts like them also deserves the same exact thing. So it says the company announced that its U.S. revenue dropped 10.5% in the second quarter, while its earning before taxes, interest, and depreciation fell 28.2%. The second quarter covered April through the end of June and offers the first look at the damage caused by the Bud Light boycott, which began in April. Anheuser-Busch accompanied the grim numbers with a survey of some 170,000 consumers across the U.S., saying it found a majority remained favorable towards the Bud Light brand, while 80% are favorable or neutral. Now, how much of that 80% is actually neutral? I still can't believe that they're trying to combine neutral and favorable together in the same numeric number to try to bolster that percentage. You know what I mean? Because you know, if they took out neutral and just put favorable, how much of that would actually be in that 80%, you know? So they want to make the number as high as possible. And companies do this all the time. You know, Bud Light's not the only one that does this. So it just makes it extra sad given the situation that we all know is going on with them. So it says, regardless of favorability, our consumers across all sentiment groups have 3 points of feedback in common. Anheuser-Busch InBev CEO Michael Ducaris said on an earnings call, 1, they will want to enjoy their beer without a debate. 2, they would want Bud Light to focus on beer. 3, they want Bud Light to concentrate on the platforms that all consumers love, such as NFL, veteran charity, Folds of Honor, and music. Well, here's my question to that, right? So you had a VP of marketing that said that all of your customers are essentially fratty, out of touch, getting old, kind of beer drinkers, right? Why didn't you run this poll prior to running that ad with Dylan Mulvaney? If you wanted to understand what your consumers wanted, you could have ran this poll prior to all the drama. But now that the drama came out, now you're running the poll to figure out what your customers want. Now you're actually running the poll to see what your customers have in their minds regarding your product, when you could have just did that in the first place and avoided this entire thing. But no, you wanted to go the easy route because virtue signaling for LGBTQ people is the easiest thing to do in the world, and they eat that shit up. That's why you did it. So you didn't care what your customers wanted. You didn't care what your customers thought, because if you did, you would have ran this survey prior to the drama. But of course, you want to do it after the fact when you're trying to somehow band-aid up the entire wound. You know what I mean? So it says, despite the drop in Bud Light sales, Anheuser-Busch reported an 18.4% increase in combined revenues of its global brands, including Budweiser, Stella Artois, and Corona. Other beers, including Coors Light and Miller Lite, have rapidly consumed Bud Light's market presence since the brand enlisted transgender grifter Dylan Mulvaney for a marketing campaign, sparking criticism and the boycott push. On Tuesday, rival Molson Coors reported an 11.8% surge in the sales over the second quarter and a 5% jump in financial volumes, with U.S. increases reflecting a shift in consumer purchasing behavior. We are seeing a share in market improvement everywhere, and more consumers are reaching for our beers than our competitors' beers, Molson Coors CEO Gavin Hattersley said on an earnings call on Tuesday. And I'm not surprised because, again, Bud Light was indeed the top-selling beer in the country. It was. There's no denying it. We cannot pretend as if that was not the case. But if a major corporation like this decides to get woke and go broke, they literally came out and said that money doesn't matter to them. It clearly didn't, because if it did, you would not have done what you did. So with that being said, now other competitors have decided to go quiet and just let the easy money roll in. You literally gave your money away. That's what you did, Bud Light. You gave your money to your competitors and they're eating it up. Why wouldn't they? I would do it too if I was a competitor of Bud Light. I would be like, look at these idiots doing this stuff. They're just going to give us free money and we're just going to take it. And that's essentially what they're doing. So it says Coors Light and Miller Lite are now 50% bigger by total industry dollars, he continued. Last year, Bud Light was bigger than both. Retailers are making space for our brand as demand increases. Meanwhile, Bud Light has sought to recoup its top spot by leaning into football, country music, and other quintessential American favorites in its new advertising. Again, ladies and gentlemen, just to be very clear, they can do whatever they want in terms of advertising. It's very much not helping them, okay? Like, Bud Light has not recovered. Bud Light is still losing 20 to 30% in sales every single week. Compared to year to date, they're losing an ungodly amount of money, and all of this tripling marketing, tripling the budget, whatever, it's not helping. Like, nothing is helping them win in this scenario. They just need to accept their fate, realize what they did was wrong, which they're never going to admit was wrong, mind you, but they got to realize that this is their new normal now. And I keep saying it in every video, but it's true. This is their new normal. Some of the distributors get it, but it seems like Bud Light Corporate just doesn't understand, and I don't think they want to understand. They can't grasp in their mind, right? All these woke people at Bud Light, they can't grasp in their mind how this failed, right? They can't grasp or the idea of, wow, people really just got fed up. Like, people are done. And your brand was the first one that they came for because you decided to be one of the first people to virtue signal. You wanted to get ahead of the curve. And the only thing you got ahead of was the boycott. That's it. You were the first. And you were the prime example that was made out of a corporation. Everybody used you as what not to do. And even though there are plenty of corporations still getting woke and going broke, there is a lot more that probably would have done it had Bud Light not got the backlash that they did and saw the financial ruin that they actually incurred for that particular company. So with that being said, they are definitely going to be unable to recoup what they lost anytime soon, at least from what I can see. And I think it's probably going to end up getting slightly worse before it actually gets better. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.